Hello, and welcome to the Virtual Advantage live show, the VA Connection. My name is Francois, and I'm joined by Charmy. Welcome, Charmy, and let's introduce ourselves. This is the
Sure.
very first video for our company. So, Charmy, maybe tell us about your background and who you are. And
So hi everyone. My name is Charmy Galang. I'm a business partner with Francois. We started Innovate. My background, I was in 20 years in the corporate banking world, and I recently retired myself. Yay!
good
And I'm
job.
full-time entrepreneur right now and also a full-time real estate investor.
That's amazing. And I'm Francois. So, similar to Charmy, I'm a real estate investor. So, I have properties in 6 countries, 4 continents, which I always like to share. And there you go. Bonjour, Francois from Vincent Carrier. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us. Merci. So, Charmy parle aussi français.
Sweet.
But going back to my presentation, so I run several businesses, including investment, properties, property management, and I co-founded with Charmy Innovate virtual assistants because I found there was a need for proper virtual assistants, and a lot of real estate investors and entrepreneurs are looking for staff, and it's quite an issue. So, Charmy, you went through that as well, and how was your experience?
Yes, I went through that as well because I have my business too, Charmy, a company where I teach investments, stock market to women. And yes, at some point I was overwhelmed with all these things because, you're not supposed to be doing everything in your business. And you really only have so much time as an entrepreneur before you really burn out. So I actually went on Upwork first and also on Facebook. And you can have a lot of people applying for the job that you post. However, to find the right skilled assistant to work with you, it's another process by itself. Unfortunately, actually, I had a connection with one of the best places to find a VA, which is the Philippines. I'm Filipino. So I was able to filter through all that noise, and I was able to find some really amazing, skilled VAs to help me with my business. And that's how I started my journey with them.
Yeah, it's been amazing. For me, it's been 3 years. So I started out with agencies. I didn't go through Upwork. I asked some friends that I knew were working with VAs, and then I didn't really like the people they recommended. I'll be quite frank. So I hope they're not listening right now. But what happened is, for some reason, I started, I don't know, in my feed or something, my social media, I mentioned something about VAs, and I got a message from this firm in the Philippines, and they said, "Hey, are you looking for someone?" I'm like, "Yes, good timing." And I met with them, and then they provided me with several VAs, which was great. But then there was a lot of turnover, which was an
Yes.
issue. It was fun at first, and then, okay, I have to train the person again and again and again and again. After 6, I'm like, this is it. I've had it. I've had enough. So it's not easy to learn to delegate. And then once you've learned that, you also have to give that knowledge to a person. They can be trained in bookkeeping or marketing or whatever you're looking to do, but they still need to know your style and what you're doing, your business and the core. So yeah, that's a tough part. And I think that's what we're trying to address with Innovate, is to have that business acumen and the training regarding the marketing and bookkeeping world.
Yeah, and I think you put a really good point. Like at some point, you might find a very skilled, wonderful VA, but there is a turnover because
Yeah.
they don't have that community, and that's what I love with Innovate because we're building a community at the same time. Not only do we work with them to train them, we're also there to make sure that they're up leveling their skills. If there's anything they want to learn, we're there to support them because it's important to have that support.
It really is. And like backup systems as well. So when we interview our VAs that are joining the team, we always ask, because it's not Canada, it's a beautiful developing country, lots of power outages. So what do you do if the power's out? It happens here too, but not as frequently. Or the internet's down while your client's still working and still expecting you to be online. So, Charmy, do you know some of the solutions our team has?
Yes, for sure. So all our teams actually have two laptops, and they have a. This is interesting. Most of them have a generator.
Yeah.
They are used to they're used to these blackouts in the Philippines. And what we've done as well is that we've hired them from different areas of the Philippines, so that if one has a blackout, hopefully the other one does it, because usually it's localized anyway. So yeah, so these are the things you don't think of until you start working with the team. And it's not just the Philippines. A lot of VAs from other countries will have the same challenges. So
Yeah, India. I've tried virtual assistants from India, same idea, and they had different offices. I've tried in Africa, so same concept. Lots of power outages, internet, but it's localized. So
mhm.
thankfully they could switch around to different places. But I found the Philippines, they're hardworking. They speak really good English as well, fairly good writing, all kinds of good skills, and actually this reminds me, we have this awesome presentation that was put together by our team.
Yes.
So, yeah, they can, let's say you're doing a live like we're doing right now or hosting some sort of webinar. You can ask a VA to put it together for you and save some time. And I could even have the person scrolling. So, Innovate in a nutshell, we're looking to help you supercharge your productivity and propel your business to new heights with virtual assistants. And this is one example. Charmy, maybe you can talk about your new business launch and what VAs have done for you.
Yes, for sure. So when I started mine, I wanted to have an online course. And at the same time, I was creating content. So I hired somebody who was very good in technology. So she actually created everything on my online platform. So I could concentrate on working on the content and delivering good content to all my clients. So it really helped me launch the course at the same time and not be super stressed, because there's a lot to do, especially if you're building a
Yes.
new business.
Well, that's it. You're a solopreneur, so you're starting on your own. You got to do the bookkeeping, the hiring, the firing, putting up a website, be on social media, and you have a personal life. You're a mom, so you got to handle the kids and the husband. Maybe maybe you have more kids than you'd like. Who knows? So the
So
cat, the
that you have
dog.
three kids now.
Yeah, that's it. So I mean, that's a lot to manage. So that's why we're offering this solution to investor, like not investors, but entrepreneurs and investors. So if you're a real estate investor, a lot of people are employed, and now they're becoming entrepreneurs by investing in real estate, but they don't have that corporate structure. Charmy, you and I have worked for large corporations. I've worked for Home Depot, Staples, Citibank. Yeah, and a few others I won't mention, but many large corporations. And it's great. You're an employee, you got the boss, you've got bookkeeping, you have marketing, you have all those teams, but now you're on your own or you have a very small team. How can you handle it all?
No, exactly. And I speak about that actually. It's one of the videos that's going to come out in our website. Is that that was one of the things when I transitioned from employee to entrepreneur, is that you lose that team that's helping you. So I created my own. So I'm very used to corporate as well. I was in banking for 20 years. So I'm very familiar with the corporate structure. So I talk about that. And these are like the reasons why we created the three different segments of Innovate, because one of the if you're asking me what a corporate structure should be, one should definitely be marketing and sales. The other one is operations, and the third one, which is very important, is your finance department.
Yes.
So yeah, so the marketing should be your social media manager. Operations, that's your executive assistant. And finance is a very good bookkeeper that keeps tabs on how profitable your business is.
Yeah, because that's very important. You don't want to get to the end of the year where you don't know how you're doing financially. You've been spending all this money, all this time. Oh, I got some income and I have no clue where this is going. And this applies for real estate investing as well. So I coach and mentor people in investing in real estate. And a lot of people think, oh, this place is going to cash flow. Yes, but how many capital expenditures are you spending money on? Do you need to market anything? There's all kinds of little money suckers everywhere that add up. And then at the end of the year, you're not too sure what you're doing. So if you have a bookkeeper and it can add up, it can get expensive. So that's why maybe virtual is a great way of doing it. There's a cost saving and also, yeah, some efficiency. You got someone on your team always available. So I
There's also
love this. Oh,
expertise. I would say, Francois, because a lot of the times real estate investors, we're so focused on our buildings, we
Yeah,
forget what expenses you're supposed to be expensing so you don't pay as much income if you are profitable, right? So it's good to have that team that tells you these expenses, you should be actually putting them in your taxes. So
exactly. And the VAs will hunt you down for your for your statements. And they found some stuff. I'm like $1 here, $1 there, but it really added up. Like e-transfer fees. I had some bank statement fees. I think something got printed. It cost me $4. So they add it all up, and then it reduces your tax burden, which is your biggest expense. I don't know if anybody read the news lately, but the Vancouver Sun just published that if you're an employee, you work till I think June 19th or 20th for free. Basically, everything else went in taxes. So with proper planning, you can reduce your tax burden, but you need someone that's available and also pushing you to provide those receipts and all those statements.
keeping you accountable so that you don't wait until the end of the year when you have to do your taxes.
No, imagine this, how much less stress like you do a month end, like in a large corporation, they always do month end. It's always like they're not panicking, but at the end of the month, there's pressure. Make sure your receipts are submitted, your timesheets are done. So even in a small business, you need to do the same on a much smaller scale. So that's why here we say delegating smaller tasks to VA. So this is a small task, but it can take up a lot of time. You can streamline your workflow and also focus on where you really add value. So Charmy from Charmy et Compagnie, you can't be Charmy et Compagnie without Charmy in it. So that you can't delegate.
No, that's it. And I think sometimes we forget, right? Because we're so overwhelmed with everything that it takes from a business that we forget we're the CEO, we're the visionary of the business, and that's what you're supposed to be doing. And everything else you can delegate.
That's it. And here we have some examples. So we have a hello from Facebook user. Good day, my friends. So hello, I think that might be Pavel, but anyway, we'll see. So streamline scheduling. So this is a good one. I mess up all the time. I double book myself. I triple book. I have so many calendars. It's just insane. So yes, you can use Calendly, absolutely. But then there's stuff that people need to kind of juggle. So VA can really help you with that. Or like hosting a live like we're doing right now. So right now I did it, but I learned my lesson. I'm going to record all this and delegate it to a VA so we don't have to do it, which is going to save time. And then we can just appear and look prepared. That's our secret. And dynamic promotion. So Charmy, you do a ton of that. Can you tell us more about like your landing pages and some of the promotion you're doing?
Yeah, so I was very fortunate. I found somebody that's very technical, and honestly, that's not something I like to do. But I needed my business because I offer workshops a lot. So I have my VA create these beautiful landing pages for me, email automation that saves so much time. The email automation, so everything's automated. As soon as the person registers, everything follows a few steps, and all I need to do is pretty much show up for the workshop and teach. So. And if I had to do it, honestly, it would probably take three times amount of time. So I have a very good time to use my. I'm supposed to be teaching, not doing all these things. So
Yeah, well, that's it. And it makes a lot of sense because your expertise is what you're teaching, not email automation, dynamic promotion, all of that stuff. Let's say you have a blog. So a lot of people are like, oh, yes, I want a blog. Great. Maybe I can start it and then somebody can polish it, add pictures, make it look nice. So it really helps you stay focused on what you do best.
and they always make it look so much better.
They do. They find like here, like our brand colors, those, and obviously the background I picked. So I did it. So it's not the right blue. But within the presentation here, those are our brand colors that were picked by our VA. Well, they were suggested and we approved them. So there you go. More executive. And the fonts and everything is studied for you. So it makes it easy. Earlier, you spoke about managing your finances. So, who handle accounts? Let's say you're doing all this beautiful teaching, you're coaching people. Are you spending time invoicing people, Charmy?
No,
There
Let's
you
let
go.
you delegate it. I did start in the beginning, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this can be easily delegated. And people ask me, there's a lot of tasks. What you need to do is really just list all the tasks that you do, and then easily delegate it. There is an onboarding process. They have to know what you're doing. Um, but honestly, like some of these tasks, they do so much better than you anyway. So
Yeah, they're more efficient. They spend all day, so they become experts at whatever it is. Like if it's branding, I know what looks good, but sometimes describing it, I might not have time to go and pick a million fonts. And is it good on mobile? Is it good on desktop? Like we were just doing some testing this morning for Innovate. We've got a workshop coming up on July 11th, a
yes.
webinar, and the landing page, we needed some testing. So I love that the VAs actually asked the other VAs to test it. Did you notice that? I don't know if you asked for that, Charmy, or
No, actually, and this is the thing: when you have a very good team, they do things that you don't even think of. So
no.
they took it upon themselves.
I did test it, but they asked the whole team, can you go and test the form, make sure you receive the confirmation email, check the links, all those things that take a bit of time away from your focus, your core value. So again, that's why if you add to your team, you can do more of what you do best. So and this whole presentation, I'll be very transparent. It's a blog post that I saw, and then I asked a VA, can you, first of all, paraphrase it? We're not just going to copy everything, shrink it down, and turn it into something that we can present. And this is the product I got this morning at 8 a.m. I'm like, yes, score. This is amazing. So I'm being efficient, doing the live. That's something I like doing with Charmy. And we're the faces of Innovate, but behind the scenes, we have this amazing team helping us be efficient.
Yeah, it
Uh,
creates so many more hours in your day, and I don't think people realize it until you've actually delegated some tasks.
it really does. Like here, cost efficiency, first of all. So it's quite affordable, extended work hours. So you could, let's say, Charmy, if you want to do the 4-hour work week, you could have a VA answer or answer some of the frequently asked questions on your website or as almost like a chat bot on different social networks. They can share things for you. And then when they really need you, they know where to get you. So you could create this database of FAQs. It really depends on the business you're involved in. But if your business is not as time sensitive, you can have a VA answer a lot of questions.
And it also becomes a lifestyle, Francois, right? At some point, like you don't want to be always working in your business. I think most entrepreneurs, that's really the idea. You want to have a business that's profitable, but that you don't want to be working all these hours in your business. You want to have your own life, spend it with your family, travel, and still have a profitable business. And this is the best way to do it, really, to have a team that works in your business, so you can work on your business.
Yeah, no, I love it. And even personal stuff, so you can squeeze in some things. I've had a VA. My vet was super. It was super hard to get on the phone, so I'm like, call them and get an appointment. So instead of spending an hour hanging up and dialing again over and over, I got the VA to make some phone calls. So, like you said, you have to find things you can delegate that can help you grow your business. And then there's the whole back end here that we have. So administrative tasks, data entry. So if you got large amounts of text or photography to format, let's say you're building a website, often the pictures need to be cropped and resized, and you want to apply a filter to a whole bunch. Anything that's repetitive is really easy to delegate, and it really helps. And it's professional. They're experts. So
That's it. And technology changes so fast, Francois. Like even though when I started, I knew how to do the landing pages, it changes so fast that you always have to keep yourself updated, but you don't necessarily want to be spending so much time just keeping on tabs on what changed in the technology. And that's what's nice when you have a team, because they can do that for you and just give you an update. And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they can even do some research. So another example for anybody listening, we've asked our VAs to do research on several things. What's a good what kind of example can we give? We said landing pages. We gave
Mhm.
them that task.
I was looking at packages because when we were
Oh
looking at
yes,
services, we wanted to make sure we were competitive. So they were doing the research for us.
pricing, agreement samples, so we can find agreements, different things, website as well, functionalities. What's the industry standard right now? What does it look like? So they can do all that research, and then you compare and make the final decision. So yeah, but the biggest thing is finding the right virtual assistant, and that's why this page here is very important, because you can get someone, but you want someone trustworthy because they're managing your business with you. They become part of your company,
Yes.
so you want the right person. Do you have some tips, Charmy, to share on how to pick the right person?
So if you're doing it on your own, definitely, I did like the way Francois did it, which is by referral. Usually,
Yes.
that's a good idea. I did myself. I did it by myself. I guess because I want to do it quickly. However, you do need to do a lot of interviews as well. Don't pick the first one. Usually, try to do a few, and also like start with a small project to see how they work with you, because
Yeah.
that's a good way to test if you know that they work well with you. Also, the personality, and I think that's one thing sometimes people don't think about. You have to match your personality with your VA as well, because everyone's different. So you want to have that nice dynamic working environment, and that's why you need to really take some time to do the onboarding. And also always think you're also the think what kind of leader you want to be. And I think this is the thing too, right? We can give you a wonderful team that's skilled, but a wonderful team needs a wonderful leader as well. So what
Yes.
kind of leader are you? What kind of company culture they want to have? And from there, everything follows.
Yeah, it really does, and I agree with you. Personality, you need to find the right people that will fit your team and the sorry, my mouse is stuck. So there you go. The right team that can assist you with your business, and they know about maybe your quirks. Sometimes I can be a bit demanding. I want this now, and there's certain things like certain pet peeves, like typos. I hate typos in in stuff. So I really want things to be proofread. Is that important? If your very first presentation you get from the person has all kinds of typos, maybe that's a deal breaker, or maybe you're okay, you just want the draft and then you want to go in and fine tune it yourself. That can be okay. Timeliness, so I'm a stickler for time as well. I like people on time. The people in the Philippines are very on time for interviews. We've had them like 15 minutes ahead usually,
Because
so
you choose the right one, Francois.
yes, that's it. Well, that's it. Not everyone. We've had some that were late and they're no longer around. So yeah, that's it. You got to pick. And
And I think that's what's nice too when you work with a company like Innovate, right? Is that at some point people will move. So you're not left alone hiring another VA. And
no.
also, yeah, it's just a lot of work. Like, you can find somebody very skilled, but they might leave you in a few months because it is a very competitive environment as well. People
Oh
don't think
yeah.
that there's a lot of competition out there. I mean, there's a lot of people that need VAs as well. So they know when they're very skilled and they're very talented, there's always other people who want to work with them as well. So you have to offer something more.
Well, that's it. You have to make it exciting. Maybe you want them to learn as well, like you said earlier, some new skills and keep growing as a professional. Bonuses, Christmas bonus, birthday bonus. I just want to share our website as well. So we've had our VAs put together this beautiful site, and we did push the boundaries a bit. I know the main person who did it, but we did ask some others and try to see what are their skills, keep them challenged and engaged. Just like an employee would have in Canada or the US, you want to engage them. If they're just doing the same menial task every day, yeah, they get bored. So it's important to have consistency, but you can do a lot more with them. And
Yeah, and it's important to give feedback. Like people ask
yeah,
me as well, like when you work with someone, and it's like anyone, Just because they're virtual doesn't mean it's different. You are
No, that's it.
managing a team, so you need to give feedback as much as you can, and the way you give that feedback will make a difference in your team as well.
It really does. So, yeah, if you want to find out more about what we do, check out innovatev8corp.com. And we've had the whole website, like I said, put together by our team. And there's some animations, all kinds of great things that they put in. And as you said, our core is bookkeeping. So in our team, we're starting with bookkeepers, social media, which is marketing and sales in a way for your business. And then eventually we'll also have accountability and more of a
The
general
operational
VA.
side.
Yeah. So operations, keeping you accountable. So, yeah. And then you got our story on the site. So you can find out all kinds of information. And I invite the listeners to also check out our social media. So we have a YouTube channel where we're starting to share interviews with some of our team members. I'm really excited to share those with everybody later on. So there you go. Somebody's asking, are you providing a service here? So yes. So we have packages where we offer bookkeeping. So depending on your business, there you go. You go to services. I should check our website. And so bookkeeping services, you can find there's some packages depending on the size of your business or how many buildings do you have. It talks about number of transactions, backlog, things like that. And then we also have customized packages. So if there's something else you'd like to do, let us know and we can find the right people for you.
Yeah, and you'll see it because Francois and our real estate investors, it is customized for real estate, but it's also for a small business and entrepreneurs. It is, they all our bookkeepers are actually all accountants. They're all trained accountants. So
That's
imagine.
it. They're quite educated. They go quite deep. I've had some very deep discussions on some invoices for $5, but they really want to see why and where it's coming from and how is it assigned, because it makes a big difference at the end if some amounts need to be amortized or not. If you just purchase new properties, there's certain acquisition fees and things you can deduct over a few years, or it's right away, depending on what it is. So
And it's so important to do it properly the first, like as soon as possible,
yes.
instead of waiting until you have like 20 properties, because it's so much harder to backtrack after and fix all those issues. So for new and real estate investors, they're like, oh, maybe I don't need it right away. That's fine. You can start to do it on your own. But honestly, because there's so much things as a real estate investors that you need to think about, it's very important to really focus on having it properly set the first time so you don't have to fix it after.
And I love it here. We're talking about catch up bookkeeping.
Hmm.
So let's say I've had several conversations with investors and they haven't done anything since the beginning of the year. So we're already halfway, by the way, more
Yeah.
than halfway, or is it more?
Yes.
Yeah, they're
It's
already more
June.
than halfway through the year. So if you got some catch up bookkeeping, I personally would say now's the time to take action. So you're not scrambling, depending on what your year end is. If it's a corporation, maybe you've picked a different year end. Maybe that's okay. If it's personal name, though, it follows the calendar year. So you want to be on top of things. And then that's just the bookkeeping. But once that's under control, if you want to grow, you need help with social media. And Charmy, you've got some good examples. I know we've had conversations. I'm like, you need to do reels and this and that. So, what was your comment on that? I'd love to share it.
What did I say about that, Francois? I'm
You're
like,
like, there's no way I can do all of that. It's
yeah.
too much.
Well, I came from banking, so people who know, and actually where I came from weren't even allowed to have social media. So I started from zero. So people would tell me like, oh, I don't know where to start. So I'm a perfect example of somebody who started from zero. And so when I opened my company this year, I had no idea how it works. So my VA actually, thank God, she started. She opened my Instagram, my Facebook, and then it just started from there. And it makes such a difference for your business because they need to know what you're doing. You need to be out there. It's not the same as as before. People want to see you. They want to see how you interact with them. And that's how you're going to grow your business. You have to be out there.
It really does, and that's the way of the future. And something as simple as saving the name of your company. So here, like we have different packages, but somebody could go in and just reserve your company name as accounts on Instagram, on TikTok. Even if you do nothing there, you've reserved that name now. And if you see, okay, things are growing on YouTube, perfect. Now you can focus your attention on YouTube, but you've kept that name. So there's different things we do. We have some packages here that we offer, and again, we can customize things, but those are kind of ready-made packages. We thought about what are the basic needs, and so listeners can check it out. And yeah, I need to get on the blog. There you go. So next task, we need to do some blogging. Let's get the VAs to blog for us, Charmy. We'll give them topics and kind of refine it, and then they'll post it for us, which is great.
Well, that's it, right? It's actually you're doing the best work because you're giving the content, and you're at the end you're the one who's giving instructions. So you're missing out the hard part, which is the middle part of everything. So
Sometimes it's the inspiration spark. You've got like a theme, but I don't know how to continue. So they find you some supplementary content or something to help you write that blog post. Or like this, we just did a video interview. They could extract the audio, turn it into written text, and then format it into a blog post. I mean, it's endless. And then you're gonna receive an invoice. So you'll need your VA to enter your invoice in QuickBooks. So I get very excited when I talk about
and I
VA.
think one thing that we didn't mention, Francois, is that I found when I was an entrepreneur, when I started, it can be a very lonely place. Like when you're doing
Yes,
everything by yourself, and your family might not even be understanding why you switch from an employee to a business owner.
that's a big
Because
one.
not everyone understands what the reality of a small business owner and entrepreneur. And what's nice when you have a team, honestly, when I first hired my VA, I felt so much more support. And she also held me accountable. She's like, Charmy, this week you need to focus on these things because there's so many things you're trying to do. So I felt so much better having somebody on my side, really that's really cares about my business. It makes
And
a
you
huge
can,
difference.
it really does. And you can bounce off ideas. What do you think about this blue
Yes.
or this color? And this person really cares. They have a vested interest in your success because if you're successful, you give them more hours, more work, and they grow as well. If they have a portfolio or something, you help them, they help you. So it's just amazing. So that's it. We've already spent half an hour, Charmy. We did our very first
Yeah.
Virtual Advantage live show, the VA Connection. Everybody in attendance, stay tuned. Next week, we'll have more exciting topics and more for you to learn on how to work with virtual assistants. And make sure to register for our newsletter. Do we have a newsletter?
We have our webinar in July, so you can
That's it.
register for
So
that one.
register for the webinar, and then the newsletter will be next. So much to do, so little time, but I hope this was informational for everybody, and it's been a pleasure, Charmy, as always.
Thank you.
Cheers, everyone. Bye.
Bye.